Yes, welcome back, my dear friends from all over the world, to a very controversial and even very emotional video here on this Friday. Fighting a bit of a cold, throat ache, and so that's why no review video today. It will be a Friday rant. As you can see, a rest in peace European and American auto industry rant. Yeah. My thoughts on it, and if you're interested, stay tuned. Here comes no intro because this is not a fancy Instagram channel. This is about you and me sharing our experiences and thoughts, and that's what I ask you, because I'm only sharing my experience here and how I see the things, and I share my insights because I sold cars and trucks and commercial vehicles here for nearly 15 years in Vienna, in Austria, so I can show you a bit more insight of the business than most of you will have. Yeah, and I'm also interested in your opinion because maybe it's completely different in your country or you have other thoughts or I'm completely wrong. So please reach out to me or write it in the comment. You know, it's all about sharing our, experiences. So the headline was former GM chairman says nearly all legacy automakers are finished. Yeah, and when I stopped working in this industry over 10 years ago because so many reasons. I don't want to call them all out here. I also have to be have to mind my words because I don't want any lawyer papers to pile up, love letters from lawyers pile up in my post box, which can happen very easily. But back in the days, I remember all these people say, "Oh, it's getting harder and harder to sell the cars," yeah, and it was easy compared to nowadays, yeah. And I said, "Oh, this marketing." Yeah, oh, it's so hard, and why are people not excited? I mean, yeah, prices are going up, maintenance costs are going up, and quality is, let's say, not going up, not the way we want it. But we have stuff in our cars we don't ever ask for, like these. I have it here also here on my mobile recorder, these soft touch surfaces which all rotted and deteriorated away within years, and the car aged and got this sticky layer of sticky shit on the plastic parts. You know what I mean? We didn't ask for that. I had no problem. There was plastic in a car, and if you put soft touch on it, it's still plastic. Yeah. If you don't put a leather on it and stitch it down nicely, like in an expensive whatever car, yeah, which is nice, leave it just like it is. Make it a durable plastic so it don't breaks and fails like I had in some of my cars. Yeah. That's the point. All the crap is failing. And I don't know in your experience, but in my experience, a friend of mine just turned 60 and I said, "Oh, okay, just look." I mean, it's not this one, it's my, here's a Russian watch, let's ban him. My 24-hour commandeer skin, yeah, for I think 80 euros. So, friend of mine turned 60 and said, "Hey, I want to buy something special for me." And then he bought a Rolex. Okay, and he's super happy. Another friend of mine bought a sailboat. I said, I'm in the market for a new sailboat, blah, 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 blah. But if you talk to someone and say, "Oh, I have to buy a new car." It's one for most of the people here in Austria, except buying a house. But in Vienna, 2 million people in Vienna, and we have 9 million people in Austria, and I think 3 million or 3.5 million people are living in cities. Sorry, that's my printer. Will not interrupt us with cleaning his toners now. So nearly 3 or 3.5 million people, have to look up the numbers, are living in flats, and most of them don't own them, so we just pay rent. So the car is the one single most expense. Yeah. I would not say invest, because if you invest your money, you get something back. But the only thing you get back is more and more costs. If you buy a new car nowadays, it at least seems so. So, and they are not happy. Normally people should say, "Oh, we are going to buy a new car." Yeah, there are some lucky people out there who is it recording? It is recording. some lucky people out there are buying a new car. No, I'm gonna buy a new car, and yeah, my new Porsche 911 or my no whatever. Okay, good to you, good. It's nice for you guys. You're blessed. That's okay. But most of us, average Joes, and what's the female version of Joes? Joes and Josies, Joinen. Yeah, we have to finance it, go to a bank, beg for a loan, credit, whatever, to leasing to pay that piece of crap to, be able to make your annually checkup and oil change for 700, which is, many of you will say you would love to pay only 700. I know, it's way more you can pay, but So I said I will buy a ridiculously expensive sparkling water. It's not sparkling water, sparkling wine, champagne, and I will drink it and open it the last day. These companies are in business when they fail because, as a revenge, because the way they treat the customer and people like me as a customer and also as a sales guys working for them, I would celebrate their downfall, which now comes closer and closer. But I will not. Because if these companies fail, yeah, it will hit you and me. It will hit the average Joe. I mean, imagine now we have the headlines that Volkswagen is struggling. I mean, 10,000 of jobs in Germany wiped out. That's not a good thing. That's definitely not a reason to make a silly party with we call Nuttendiesel, which means hooker diesel. Okay. Just some funny words there, yeah. And just to give you a small example, when you're like me, which means you saw the light of the sun the first time, 1976. I made my driving license 94. So my first car had 13-inch rims and tires, so they could fit, and it was totally fine. So because in Austria you're only allowed to go 50 kilometers per hour in the city, which equals, I have my notes here, so if you listen you don't have to watch. Going 50 in the city here means about 31 miles, and now we have all more and more of this 30er zone, which is a 30 zone, spreading overall in the city, which are 19 miles, yeah. And if you go these overland roads, it's 100, so 62 miles, and on the freeway, highway, on the Autobahn, yeah, it's 130. And back in the days when the magical number everyone told you was, yeah, if you go 140, 145, if the police stops you, it's just, pay nothing or a small amount, which are 10 euros, $10. Yeah, you won't get away with that nowadays. So no one will say anything. And these radar boxes, they had a classical film in there. And now you have this super precise, nearly no tolerance electronic radar boxes, which can, if you go there 100 times a day, you get 100 tickets. And if there are 1,000 people going 100 times too fast on this lane, they will send out 100,000 tickets. So we are not going faster. So why do we need these bigger rims? Years later, I had a BMW which lasted 600,000 kilometers. Yeah. I don't know how many miles that would be, but I think about 400,000 miles. So it was a really durable car. I had 15-inch rims on it, and everyone said, "Oh, babe, come look at these giant wheels," which were compared to the first car with 13-inch was really big. Now I have 17-inch rims on a car with 101 brake horsepower, 1 liter, 3 cylinder. Just enough for me to go around here in the city. And it will also maybe be my last car because I'm fed up with all this shit. Yeah. So, yeah, too emotional. Sip of coffee. So 17-inch rim, and they tell you, yeah, it's because it's a smoother ride if you go on these roads. Yeah, which is an argument. I see, because the roads are getting worse and worse and deteriorate. Yeah, if I think back 20 years ago, the Austrian autobahn was famous around the world. Yeah, they are still good, but yeah, but I mean, that's BS. We are not going faster, and it's also a smooth ride with 80 or 90 miles per hour, so 130, 140 kilometers per hour on 13 or 15-inch rims. Yeah, I mean, there are even more, 21, 22, 24 now. Yeah, and there is, and they say this is a smooth ride. No, it's not, because there is not much air cushioning. Yeah, we have this. We call it Blunzenraul. Blunzen is Blunzen in Austria is a sausage. Yeah, famous sausage, and it's really thick, and looks, you get it in this round form, and it looks a bit like a tire, and we call that these sausage tires. And there was a lot of air, which gives you a lot of cushioning, because that's what air does, and not a big wheel with a big rim, because that makes no sense. Because if you look at a truck or a bus with these huge airbags they have, constantly working the whole way to make a smooth ride, and also to not ruin the streets. Yeah, you need a big airbag, a big wheel, a big tire, another flat tire, to have a smooth ride. And that's possible with a 13, 14, 15-inch rim. But a 30-inch tire costs you 40, 50, and a 17 costs you 150, 200, and even more, and the rim costs also more. So that's why they do it. So please don't lie to us. We are not silly. If you're watching this video to this point, I know that you exactly know that it's complete BS. It's not because they care about us, because they don't care about us. Yeah, because if they would care about us, they would build all this fancy electronic stuff that constantly fails, and charge you prices for parts where I think, okay, are they produced by Harry Potter, or they can't just make one brake disc a year? I mean, what's going on. So please don't lie to us, customers, and go back and build normal decent cars that last and have normal maintenance costs. Yeah, there is inflation, everything is going up in prices, yes. But why? Why? Who started this all? Yeah, it's another. Don't get too political here, yeah? So I'm just fed up with it, because in Austria we have to have winter tires in winter time, and I changed them yesterday, and it nearly broke my back. They were so heavy. Yeah? On my first car, I could carry both rims with the wheels on in my basement, and to store them was no problem. And yes, I'm getting older, but this big, huge, heavy thing. Oh no, don't. And there is no plus point in all this big thing. And you also now you have these. Don't know what's going on in your country, but in Austria it's mandatory that you have these air sensors in your rims, which constantly fail, which constantly show you, oh, there is something going on with the tire pressure. Yes, I'm a lucky guy, because in my car, you just have to press a button, and then it tells you, oh, please check it. You have to go to the gas station or somewhere and check it, and read the manual. There is a computer not able to tell me how much air pressure I need for the tires. That would be a nice customer service. No, I have to do some paperwork, and go and find page number 1811 where there is, yeah, which car do you have? You know what I mean, yeah? They are not able to write it down there. So say, okay, you need 2.5 in the front and 2.3 in the back, and also 2.5 in the back. Our bar, not PSI, if you have passengers or heavy load in your car. Yeah, it's not able to do that. So I just have to push this button, and then when the car is standing 1 or 2 minutes, you can push it again for 10 seconds and it vanishes. But as many or some of you know, I was also driving trucks a few years ago, and that was a pain, a constant pain in the ass, because these sensors constantly lightening up. And if the police comes to you, yeah, if the police, who is often not very nice to truck drivers, stop you and they say, oh, why are you ignoring your tire pressure? Your salary goes down the drain. Yeah, and that will get even worse in the next years, because that none know how it's in your country, but we have this, don't have it here now, same size as a credit card. Your driver card, the Fahrerkarte, you have to stick it in this digital speedometer, and it exactly knows when did you start your engine, when did you make your first brake, your second brake, yeah. And if they stop you, if the police stops you in Austria, you have the complete documentation of the last 28 days you have to carry with you. And if you took a day off 3 weeks ago, you have the permit from your employer saying, okay, he had a day off. If you not have that, you have to pay. If a light fails, you have to pay. And in future, in a few years, they will have they will only go have to go by with a police car, by your truck, and they say, okay, I want this truck, and he gets all the information. How long have you been working? How long have you been driving? How many kilometers? Is there any sign? Is there any check engine light or check everything light or check your ex-wife light on? And if that is the case, they will pull you out and all your hard-earned money, and then tell me there is no modern slavery. Yeah, okay, I'm okay. You see, it's really getting a bit emotional here. So please, dear auto and car industry, don't test your products on us customers and working people. Yeah, please test them until they perfectly work and then put it in their cars. And if you're not able to do that, tell your friends, your politician, for years and was good friends and had this fine parties and all that stuff going on. Tell the politicians we are not able to do a reliable pressure control system. It will need another 3 or 4 years, and then we can implement it. So yeah, okay, I'm really fed up with this. Yeah, and the best thing is, we call it Reifenhotel, which means tire hotel. I am tired of the tire hotel, because they say, oh, we will inspect your tires, and we will wash your tires, and we will store your tires, and when you come in 6 months to switch you to your winter tires or summer tires, have this perfectly washed tire, and we put it on and take care of your other tires. That's the story they tell you. The real thing that's going on, yeah, washing your tires, before they put a hand on your car, they drive it to this Waschstraße, the washing street, yeah, car wash, yeah. So, and that's enough for the rim, because on the outside it is some kind of cleaned, and then they put the wet tires in a plastic bags, and then they take it to the hotel, which in many cases is just a used up old shipping container where you can make barbecue on the surface in the summer, so your tires get I don't know how many 100 degrees, yeah. And as we all know, the best thing for rubber is -degrees, freezing temperatures, and even better than that is high temperatures in the summer, especially for tire mixtures, rubber mixtures, yeah. Rubber tires, they are made for cold winter. If you store them in a container where you have, I don't know, 80, 90, 100 degrees for days and days and days, especially in summers like this. So this is the wonderful tire hotel. And if you go there and get your tires, they will tell you, oh, one is damaged and one had a nail, and we already, you can't look at it, the damage, because we already had to get rid of them, because environmental laws, everything is so strict now, and you are not allowed as a customer to see your dad rest in peace tire. I'm not insulting someone here, yeah, but it happened to me, it happened to other people, and it's better to take your tires home and don't have a hotel for them, yeah, and just store them anywhere, yeah. Store them anywhere. So, okay, what happened next? Downfall of the auto industry. I don't know about the American customers, but they demand things. They want cars that last. They want, parts to be on stock when you need them, and so they are. So we need better customers. So yeah, moon landing. There was no one there buying a car. So let's go to the BRICS countries. Yeah, Brazil, Russia, India, China. That's the future. That's the future. The Chinese people will buy our cars, and that's the future. So what we now know, at least in Europe, you say, okay, dear customer, you made us big. Your money gave us tremendous power to buy all the companies that could have hurt us. All these mergers and acquisitions. You also made us so big that we had political powers and contacts, and for years and years and decades, we can help the politicians made the right decisions for our industry. But now, as you're getting a little bit, now asking too many questions, demanding too much quality, we don't like you anymore, yeah. So instead of building better cars, they said, okay, dear customer, you're number 2 or 3 or whatever. Now we're just taking care of the Chinese customer, which they didn't. They continued going down with quality and up with prices, because now if you watch videos here or watch the media, listen to the media, car sales in China are plummeting. For foreign brands, not for their own brands. They had -5%, I think, yeah. It's not a business channel here, but as I remember, they have -5%, which is a lot in China, but they still sell a lot of hundred thousands of cars each month. But less American cars, less European cars. Think of it. And they are completely, Volkswagen has to lay off thousands of people in next 1 or 2 years. I mean, one of the biggest companies, very successful, yeah. Great quality in the 80s, 90s, 70s. I mean, remember the Beetle? I hate this car, but back in the days, it was affordable, great, and it was long lasting. It could do your repairs on your own. So yeah, Chinese people don't buy it, because a few years ago it was a status symbol to have a European car, to have an American car. If you're in China, I can imagine if you go there, buy your BMW or a Mercedes or a Porsche, or if you have your cheap Commander or your Lincoln or whatever, or your Mustang, you are someone. Yeah, people look at you. You are successful. But now they don't buy these cars anymore. Maybe also they are upset with the low quality. And if you look at the luxury market, also the stock markets, this Louis, Hennessy, Martini, blah, blah, going on. It's going down. Rolex sales are going down. Yeah, and I imagine. Maybe not Rolex, but luxury brands are selling less. So maybe they have less money, or they they pay more attention where they spend their money, because if you're in China and if you're rich and it's getting tighter financially and you're using your famous luxury brand Thick de Femp boots for $3,985, yeah, and you use them, and after 4 weeks of wearing them you realize that they're just a piece of junk, that they're just overpriced, yeah, low quality boots, and they fail you. Maybe these people will never buy them again, especially if you compare the quality to, let's say, a 200 or 300 euro military boot or a Jim Green boot. Yeah, maybe that's the case. Maybe they are fed up with the quality, and they are buying local brands. Yeah. And everything's, in the auto industry, the manager, I read an article a few days ago, yeah, don't name the brand here because don't want a call from a lawyer, an ugly one. Yeah, and said, how could we ever imagine that the Chinese would buy their local brands? And that never happened before. Really? That's right. If you think back, America in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, did you guys, write it in the comments, did your parents, grandparents, or even you, did you buy local American cars? Did you do that? Did the Germans buy their Mercedes, BMW, Audi, blah, 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 blah? Did the Spanish buy their Seat? Did the Italians buy their Lamborghini Countachs and Fiat and what did they also have? The French, the Citroëns. Did they buy local? Did they, back in the day, think of it, yes, if I buy a car that's produced in my country, it's good for the economy of my country? Did they do that? Yes, they did do that. What a surprise. And what really surprises me and bothers me is, if I talk to someone like you will definitely understand what I mean, but you super overpaid, yes, managers from their elite universities, they are always surprised by what's happening. They're always surprised. But if I talk to normal people like you and me, we are also surprised, but we are surprised how silly someone can be. I read an article, why some cars fail, foreign cars fail in China, because they don't have a karaoke system. So apparently those people in Asia, and props to you all, yeah, they like to sing karaoke in their cars while driving or standing or whatever. Yeah, and most non-Chinese manufacturers don't have a karaoke system in their cars. We don't have it. I'm sure if that would have happened in the 80s, those big car bosses would go to the politician and say, yeah, we will buy karaoke and we will close them down so we don't have to deal with it. Or we'll make a law, we'll pay someone to make a law to that's not allows karaoke system in cars. But they don't have that power anymore, yeah? And I can totally relate to it, because remembering one of my first cars sitting in, built in my hi-fi, it was like a disco driving around, looking to listen to AC/DC, and 60 brake horsepower, felt like Ayrton Senna and Lightning McQueen, and listening to AC/DC and Highway to Hell. Yeah, still had hairs back then. Yeah, those people like to do that nowadays, and they don't have it, and they go to the dealership and say, okay, this car has this European car, no, there is no karaoke system. This one, no karaoke system. This one, Chinese car, okay, let's buy local. Yeah, let's buy local. So and that they didn't know it that will happen. Yeah, it's the same. They don't know what is coming. Remember the Tesla story. Yeah, the Tesla brought out his speedster car, was a two-seated sports car, and then they came up with this real big 4 or 5 passenger car with a big battery and and they said, okay, it's a big family car and weighs as much as an aircraft carrier, but 0 to 100 or 0 to 60 in just a few seconds, and way faster than, let's say, any sports car there, yeah. with the build quality of a 1970s Fiat or Citroën and the price tag of a modern high-class car. Yeah, so did everything wrong there. And what I expected these companies to do, what I expected, for example, Porsche to do, if someone like Tesla comes with the obviously accepted build quality and obviously accepted price tag, which props to you. It's not easy to do that, but enough people buy it and say, okay, we have a 5-passenger, 4-passenger family car with electric motors that accelerate way faster than your Porsche 911, yeah, for example. Yeah, which, okay, it's the characteristic of an electric motor. I'm an electrician. I installed a lot of these used stone-crushing electric motors. You know, they have power. You can't compare it, yeah? It's completely obvious that they are very, very fast, but they also need a lot of power. And we're not talking here about range or duration hours of electric equipment like, you know, a cell phone, a laptop, a Tesla, or a dildo. That's a completely other, that's not a topic here, you know. So, and I expected Porsche to come up and say, okay, that's nice what you have, but look what we have. Look what we have. Look at this car. It can nearly fly. We are so far away from building the Millennium Falcon. No, what did they do? Yeah, he, ha. You know, they didn't see what was coming. And now they are completely, you know, they're selling their old cars. So just to give you an example or another thought, my brother just got a new car about a year ago from a very famous German brand. Will not call it because I don't want these lawyers to shit on my carpet. Yeah, and he showed the car to me and all the fancy stuff going on. You see the ambience light, which you can change the color and the brightness, which, you know, I mean, let's be honest, we couldn't have lived any day longer without an ambience light in our car. Yeah, we don't have a spare wheel anymore, but we have ambience light. That is so great. So I don't understand why you Chinese people are not completely nervous about buying our European cars. Yeah, and the thing that bothered me most was, you know, when he was young and I was one, he had this Peugeot, which for those who don't know, it's a French brand, and this was the GTI, so the fast version, small car, and it had red seat belts and these cool gorgeous in there, and your oil pressure and your oil temperature and your battery charging 12 volt, 13 volt, 14 volt. You could see that going up to 14 volt if you were driving on the Autobahn. You don't have that anymore, yeah? And if you go in the car with the ambience light, and if you open the door, even the brand, that there is a small LED light that projects the brand of the car on the street below. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that exists, and now that it exists, I am completely, yes, I think I don't need it. I don't need it. And what if that fails? What if that fails? You know, and as we know, it's not only that the light doesn't burn anymore. There will be your brand street light lamp device is failed. There is like a check engine is a check your nonsense light going on. And what's the biggest thing that bothered me is except the ambience light and the massage seats, yeah, there was no dashboard. There's just this it looked like someone was in panic mode, and they had to show the car to their CEO how they developed the new model, and then they said, "Oh, Günther, Hans, look, we have no dashboard. Renate, bring us some beer. We have to invent something. We cannot even see how fast we're going because, yeah," and then they, yeah, don't be afraid, Jürgen. I have this old computer and we can take the glue gun and just stick it on there. Yeah, and guess what they also don't have in there, yeah? They don't have a microphone. They don't have a microphone for Asian people who like to sing in their car. And that's why their sales go so far away. Never again will they sell anything in Asia without a microphone and karaoke system, because they didn't take care of what their customers want. And you can buy a karaoke, it's actually from a small karaoke thing. You can buy that on Amazon or whatever for 100 euros, and they're not able to put it in their car. Yeah, and there was no one. I mean, when they glue, dear car manufacturers, dear Jürgens and Günthers and Renates, take out your glue gun, get to Amazon. And if you're Amazon Prime member, now you still can afford it, there's still some money left, you will even get the delivery for free. You can glue in a karaoke set on the back seat. So, or call me and I'll make you a great price. I don't need it any longer because I buy a Chinese car. No, funny kid. Okay, so that's my thought, and it looks old. Yeah, it's not that you're getting a 80,000 or 90,000 euro car and you're not flashed, because just seeing a light on the floor showing me what car it is, I just have to look at the car if I'm interested, and then I know it's the new Günther 5000, yes, and the ambience light. Oh, that's so, and no spare wheel, because there is a law against flat tires, and there will soon be a law against using of karaoke devices in everything that has 4 or more wheels. So maybe it's just not a genius product anymore. Maybe they are not benchmarking anymore. So maybe our dear Chinese and Asian friends, you are not interested in buying the better version. You are interested in buying the better version, but not the beta version. Okay? Maybe. That's a problem. I remember my old cars. I had to replace the brake pads and the disc, 500 euros. And you know what? Big surprise. It came in a cardboard box. So you need a specially trained mechanics to install those brake pads, which brought the invoice up to 1,000 euros for just 4 brake pads and 4 discs to change them. 1,000. So it was ka-ching! Congratulations from your car manufacturer. There goes down your weekend vacation with the kids. Da-da-da-da! Yeah? But you can, if you're not satisfied with your car, you can come to the dealership anytime, and we will give you coffee in these small cups, as much as you want, where you burn your fingers because they are so small and flimsy. And we can tell you that we have a newer version of what you already have, which has more boring interior in sports gray. We have the new sports gray, which has dots. Yeah, it's a total improvement, and the new car is also able to recognize if you get an email and tell it you and distract you from traffic. You're not allowed to look on your smartphone during driving, but you're allowed to look at these huge displays all the time where you find actually nothing. Yeah, so you can do that anytime. And it costs, the old car you paid 25,000, and the newer one just 3 years later you paid 28,000, because ka-ching, there goes your summer vacation. Yeah. And when the newspaper comes, the car seller will tell the manufacturer, "No, we don't know why the people are excited buying cars anymore." I'm done. If my car is out of warranty, and there will be some expensive repairs. I live in a city. We're getting more and more car sharing cars. And I'm like you. I'm like, okay, it gives me a good feeling to know I have my car in the garage by my house. And if I want to go somewhere, buy something, get somewhere, meet someone, get someone to meet me, I just hop in there and get this person, do whatever I want. But my camera. It's maybe it's a car industry camera. So yeah, but it's a ridiculous amount of money you pay every month. You pay for maintenance, you pay for parts, and I don't even talk about the decrease of value. And it's a big difference, because I know 20 years ago, I bought a small car, decent Peugeot, with, the car still runs today. Yeah, I don't own it anymore, but I know the owner. It still runs. I paid a bit south than 18,000 euros. You don't get anything for 80,000 euro nowadays, yeah? And the decline of 18,000 euros to zero in 20 years is something different than buying a new Jeep for 80,000, which will also vanish in 20 years. Maybe it will be shorter than 20 years. So, yeah, congratulations to quality and all you did there. So, okay. Also, the next thing is that you see a lot of articles that they're afraid of the Chinese cars piling up somewhere, and people buying these cars. Okay, because maybe people want to give a chance to another brand, kitsching, to destroy their dream of a summer vacation or weekend vacation or whatever. Just give someone else the chance. And the biggest advantage, all this, at least I can only talk for Austria here, or Europe, parts of Europe I know, the chance they had is to make a customer service that really earns the name customer service. But I sometimes feel like urged to take a red spray can and spray out the customer service, because okay, it's a customer, but there is no service. They treat you like the police treats a criminal. You say, okay, I had a problem with my wiper on the back window, and it doesn't work, and also this didn't spray this wiper wish fluid on the rear window. So I told them, yeah, and they charged me. And I say, hey, come on, people, I have a 5-year warranty on the car. Oh, we have to look that up. Don't have to look that up. You sell these cars for years now, and they have 5 years warranty, and it's a warranty thing. And now we have to ask our CEO, and it's not so easy. And why didn't you tell it before? I mean, come on. So they don't care about you. They don't invest in these people, We have a saying in Austria, as you cry in the woods, it comes back, which actually means, how you talk to people, they will talk back to you. So just please train your customer service people, and then if they have a situation like this, they don't say, I have to look up it if it's still under warranty, yeah. You just can train to say them, to make them say, okay, yeah, we will fix that. Yeah, no problem. I will look at that. I will phone you. Whatever is better than. I sometimes have the feeling to talking to the police, or even I had phone calls with the tax office, which were nicer. Way nicer. I'm thinking talking to my ex-wife or even my ex-mother-in-law is a better experience to talking to most of these customer service guy. I know there must be a special breed of humanity. Maybe they are those people who tortured people in the dark ages. The whipping and torturing guys we had in the dark ages here. Maybe nowadays they vanished, and now they are customer carers. There are good people out there, and I know a lot of them. And I also know that it's difficult for you having this 100,000 computer programs and ask everyone for everything. But we are all people. Why don't we help together? So, yeah. And I also remember when I started selling cars years ago, I worked for a company. We sold Volvo. We sold Citroën, which is a French brand, for those who don't know. And we also had this Hyundai, however, these Korean cars, which not are Kias or Sangyong. However, it's pronounced right. Maybe you can tell me how to pronounce them right, yeah? And people were laughing at me and saying, yeah, you're selling your chop suey cars and so, yeah? And I think chop suey is a Chinese thing, so maybe that backfired. So, yeah, but you know, they sold the cars with 5 years warranty. And as I remember, the first car I sold was a Hyundai Santa Fe, the first series of the Santa Fe, with the 115 brake horsepower diesel engine, leather seats, AC, automatic control, and all that stuff going on. Really good car, really nice car. Was the first one I sold, and it was way cheaper than the Volkswagen Golf 4 Series my brother bought at the same time, with no air condition and no electric windows in the rear, and so on and so on and so on. And 5 years warranty, or 80,000 kilometers, 50,000 miles. And I remember a day where a guy stand in front of me and said, okay, just had his car towed in. It's a bit more than north of 3 years old. And his automatic transmission failed, and he said that will cost a ton of money. And I said, it will cost you nothing. I gave him this car dealership coffee where you burn your fingers in these small plastic cups. And sat there, and they fixed it for him. And you know what happened? The next day, he came with his neighbor. After they fixed it, he came with his neighbor, and the neighbor asked, okay, so you telling me if I buy a car here now, and it, something breaks, like the engine or something, like the gearbox or so, after 4 years, 4.5 years, 4.75 years, you tell me that within 5 years they will fix it. And I said, yes, it's in the contract. And small printed shit you have on a contract. Here you have one, nothing on it. Go home, just read it if you're curious, and come back and buy a car. And don't buy a car, it's up to you. You're not forced there. And he bought a car. And over the next week, there was a friend of mine bought a car here, because I heard you have 5 years warranty, when most of the other manufacturers had 6 months. 6 months. That's more than 20 years ago. And everyone was laughing. Yeah, those, Korean cars, Hyundai, Pony, and so were not great. But first Santa Fe that came out, Elantra that came out, that changed a lot. And now, look where Hyundai is now. They are struggling now, because also they lost track. Yeah, they have been Europeanized and USized, or whatever happened there. They're struggling also right now. I don't know how their sales in China, and I also don't care. But all these manufacturers are struggling, because they are not doing what the customer wanted. And what the customer wanted back then was 5 years warranty, for example. So you don't constantly have to be worried about your car, at least for the first 5 years. And what also happened, there were some lucky people who had enough money. They just bought a car, and they sold it after 3 years, and said, okay, you still have 2 years of warranty. Or they sold it after 4 years and say, you still have 1 year of full warranty on a 4-year-old used car. So going to a used car dealership years ago, what was hard to find and more expensive than some famous brands, Guess what? But what we have now is cars where you don't have 4 switches for the electric windows. You just have 2, and you have a sensor if you want to open the rear windows. You do this Harry Potter move, this disc jockey move. You move your finger over the sensor, and then you can open or close the rear windows. That will age perfectly, and will cost nearly nothing if it ever breaks down. That's what we have. We have my car says, there is a new WhatsApp message from Robert. Do you want me, the car, to read it to you? And then I say yes, because I'm not allowed to use my smartphone during driving, which really is a bad idea, but you have constantly something going on this, like we say, mice cinema. And you say, yes, read it to me. And it says, Robert just send you a picture. Do you want to reply? No, because I don't see the picture, and I don't want to see the picture because that would cause a lot of car crashes if you can do that. So big advantage for me, yeah. And I can reply. Okay, I'm sitting in my car after I paid 700 euros for just an oil change and a checkup. Check cars. I can, I can make. They make a car check, and we together. Let's make something very, very special. Magically, we make the bell check. Bell is checked. We can also make the sword check, and we can make. We can also make a car check. So car check. No car. Car check. Your car check. Car check. Car check. Oh. No car. Then, oh, yeah. Car. Okay. No car. Yes. Checked. Okay. Again? It's magical. I know. Maybe I have to do it 3 or 4 times. No, but don't do it. Car check. No car. Car? Check. It's dusty. Yeah, if I would bring this car to the dealer to make maintenance, it will not only cost a ton of money, it will, you know what will happen? They will wash. We washed your car. We washed your car. After you gave us 700 for an oil change, we washed your car, which if you would go out there and just go anywhere to a car wash, you will spend, somewhere between 750 or 10 or 15, which will totally bankrupt you. So we did it for you. We also used the cheapest program we have, which equals up, I think, €3 out there. No one would survive with that because the car is, it's not clean. Just the dirt is evenly distributed over the car. All the insects are giving a customer back a car where you still have all the insects from driving on the Autobahn in the summer. It's ridiculous. So Furby check. No Furby check. Okay, yeah. So that was my rant video. I don't ask you if you like the video because, it's a silly question because we are all in the same boat. Yeah, we all have to suffer these expensive treadmills because if you have them in for repairs, you have to go by feet. So they are expensive treadmills for me. And yeah, I miss the cars. We had back in the days where you don't had to make a Bluetooth connection to get some music working or whatever, where you had your cassette or your CD or you were just listening to the engine because it was funny to listen to. Yeah, that was easy. That was a nice time. And now we have that, and we have these morons bringing down the industry because these cars are boring as hell. They are expensive as hell. The maintenance costs reminds of a boat, but not having the fun of a boat, So that's it. So I don't ask you to like this video, just ask you to agree on this video or write your experiences. It's a very long video. Don't know if still anyone is here, but that's just my experience. That's how a whole industry made a lot of things wrong out of arrogance. But they never recognized anything, and these people are no, not. Let's stop it here. So that was the Friday rant with Waldorf and Stadler and me, your guy from Vienna. Paul is my name, and I wish you everyone a long-lasting and cheap car that will make you happy. Yeah, that's my wish for all of you. So goodbye.